Okay, it's Matt and Brooklyn. We're here in Culver City, which is where we always are, because that's where we live. And we're going to talk about our week again for this week's Walker Talks.
Yep.
Okay, so this week, though, we actually had a really busy weekend. This week wasn't too bad. It was just kind of normal. I don't think really anything big happened during the week at all. Brooklyn's making like a, did anything happen this week? Like looking up kind of to the ceiling. And so she says no too, I guess. But this weekend we had a lot of fun. So on Friday, we went to Santa Monica. We live really close to the metro, which is like a tracks train kind of thing. And so we walked down there and then we hopped on the metro and rode to Santa Monica, which is a really cool beach. Like it's super popular, touristy kind of place. And so there's a lot of people there a lot of the time. The beach itself gets pretty busy, but right now, since it's springtime, it's not touristy busy. It's just busy, like people go there like we did just on the weekend and stuff like that. And so not too bad. The first time we went to Santa Monica, there were like so many people there, like thousands of people there. And so it wasn't too bad. But on our train ride, there's like this guy and he had this huge, I don't know, what was it?
Just like this really beefed out bike. I don't even know.
Like an electric.
Like wheels that could support a car, but it was just like a bike.
Yeah, like a motorcycle. A little.
I think it might have been motorized a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was electric, but I mean we don't know. But anyway, he's got a cooler strapped onto it, and he's like hawking his wares. He's just like yelling. He's like, hey, anyone on the train? You want Gatorades? You want water? You want a joint? Because recreational marijuana is legal in California as of recording this. But, he's just selling all this stuff, but I don't think he's allowed to sell that. I think it's illegal for him to sell weed on the train because I think you have to have a license for that. But anyway, so this is just kind of set up later. But so he's just like yelling on the train.
And nobody responds. Like nobody wants anything. But every like 3 minutes he'd just repeat his little spiel. Just standing there, like not even going
no one has gotten on the train. No one's gotten off the train. He just says it again like 4 or 5 times. It was kind of funny. But anyway, so we get off the train at Santa Monica and we were walking down to the beach and he gets off the train at Santa Monica and he starts, riding down to the beach and we get stuck at like a crosswalk and he's like right next to us. Says it again. We were sitting like 2 feet away from him. And
you don't remember us?
Yeah, and he like says it again to us. We're like, no, we're good. And then he drives down and he's faster than us. He goes down the street and then we're walking and like he comes back like up the side of the street. Like we just saw him so many times.
He's like haunting us.
And then it was like
chasing us down the road.
Instead of going down to the pier, we walked along kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, but there's like a cliff that you can kind of walk along the top of and look down like on the beach and stuff. Gardens and some statues and plaques and stuff like that. So we walked along a little path, but we like walk down that, we come back to go down to the pier and there he is again, like the whole time. It was kind of funny, but the pier is super fun to go down to. There's a couple restaurants down there that we're going to go to eventually, but they're kind of, they're not super expensive, but like a Bubba Gump's. There's like a Bubba Gump's on the pier. And then this one clear out on the end of the pier. I can't remember what it's called, but it looks really fun. We're also toying with the idea of getting some fishing poles and fishing the ocean a little bit right there. Cause we think that would be kind of fun. Except I was telling Brooklyn, I don't even know what ocean fish look like. Like if I fished out a fish, I'd be like, well, that's a fish. Like
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know if it was endangered. I wouldn't know if it was edible. So before we do that, we're going to research what fish we can and cannot eat.
Right.
Or that we could
areas,
get.
Because on the pier, there's like
it gets
dozens
busy.
of people like right next to each other. I'm like, is this safe? Like you're going to poke somebody's eye out or like, I don't know, get it caught in your hook.
Yeah.
So I'd worry about that.
We're going to find maybe like some rock outcrop somewhere that we can fish every once in a while. That'd be fun. We'll figure it out. But But yeah, so then we just rode home. Santa Monica is a really interesting place, though. There's just like so many different people and so many, like a lot of tourists, but a lot of people that live there, a lot of homeless people, because it's just in California, well, in Los Angeles, there's just tons of homeless people because the weather's so nice all year round. And then they've made laws that make it really easy for homeless people to live here and stuff. And you just end up seeing like a really wide array of humanity. It's just a really interesting thing. Sometimes we got a little contemplative on the train ride back, like talking about like the disparities between, or like the gap between like people and what happens, like what happens for homeless people to end up like homeless and wasted on a pier in Santa Monica, like where they came from and
like
stuff.
Where are their families? I mean, if one of my siblings were to like go homeless, we would know about it and we would take them in. It's like where did their friends and family go? Like how does nobody care about this person?
It's just kind of like it's interesting to think about like what led to that, even though like we don't know, and we don't have a very strong grasp of what they even are experiencing or why they're that way, but just kind of like trying to think about that. And but yeah, anyway, that was our Santa Monica trip. It's kind of we go there, we try to go there fairly frequently because it's just so close to walk to the metro and then take it down. That's fun. And then so that was Friday night, and we walked a lot that night. Like not a lot, but I mean like 4.5 miles, right?
That's a lot,
wasn't it? It's a lot for. I
was like, I need to sit down. My belly hurts.
Yeah, pregnant Brooklyn walking 5.5 miles 4.5 miles was a little harder than me doing it, but it was a really good night. And then the next day, so we went to a showing of Detective Pikachu, which I'll talk about in a little bit about how we felt about Detective Pikachu. But we went there. It was an ASIFA showing, and again, ASIFA is like the organization that Brooklyn's part of that votes on the Annie Awards, which are like the Oscars of animation, kind of. But we get to go to showings. They invite us to showings for free, kind of thing. So we didn't pay for Detective Pikachu. That's just like the first thing. But anyway, it was really fun. I'll talk about that later. But then we walked around. We were in Burbank, and it was like noon when the showing was over because it was an early showing. And then we started walking around that complex. We had lunch. We walked around kind of that mall area, and there was an art, what would you call it? Like an art crawl or an art festival thing. The CTN, the thing that Brooklyn and I have gone to in Burbank in November, and that we tabled at last year. I guess they do this weekend was their what they call a road trip.
Yeah, road show or something.
Yeah, something. And they set up in Burbank, so they're not indoors, and it's just kind of anyone can walk through and see it. And so we saw some people that we knew, and it was kind of fun. The guy that sat next to us at CTN, like on the table right next to us, was there, and we talked to him for a second, just tried to figure out what's going on. But we did that. It was kind of fun. And then we're like, and then we spent, all of 30 minutes doing that. And it's like, so we were also invited to go to a party that night, like a potluck party get together for animation students from BYU. And Brooklyn knew some of the animation students, but not all of them. But we'd been invited, and it was in Glendale, and Glendale is right next to Burbank. So it's like 10 minutes from where we were, but we live 40 minutes away. And so it's like we didn't want to go home and then come back. And so we're like, hey, we got to find stuff to do for the next, 7 hours, 6 hours. And so we like typed in, what do you do in Burbank?
For free, because we have like our weekly guilt-free spending, and we'd like already spent it all.
Yeah.
On like lunch and stuff. And so we're like, free stuff, and there's actually like quite a lot to do for free. We found this place, so Griffith Park, which is where the Griffith Observatory is, which is the big observatory that's on the mountain
in Los Angeles. Oh yeah, La La Land. I've never seen that.
Oh, okay. Well, it's in that.
Some people have seen
If people have seen that, they would know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it's like in a lot of movies and stuff. But it's popular. It's there, and then we drove in, and it actually was funny because we're like, maybe we could go to this place, and then Brooklyn's like, oh well, let's check about this place too. Like 2 different places that we'd seen free things in Burbank, and she put one in the GPS to see if we were going away from or to it. Anyway. Basically everything there is to do in Burbank and Glendale is in this park. Everything free to do, and it's big. It's like a big chunk of the eastern end of the Santa Monica Mountains. I think the Santa Monica. I don't know what the mountains are called. They're not. I mean, they're not mountainy mountains. They're like hilly mountains. but there was like let's talk about Travel Town because I didn't even go.
Okay. Yeah, Matt slept in the car because he was really tired. I needed to go to the bathroom, so we went into there. It's called Travel Town Museum. But it's basically this big train museum thing for kids that Walt Disney established forever ago because he had like this crazy obsession with trains. And there's like a big red barn, and just like you can get on big trains, and you can just look at old cars and trucks and buses and stuff. So that's kind of cool. I didn't like look around too much, but yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Brooklyn came back to the car, which I had taken a nap because I was so tired. But I had taken a nap, and she came back and told me about it, and I was like, it'd be fun to bring a kid.
Yeah, but let's come back when we have a kid.
Not. But so we'll probably go back there, and then I can experience it for real. But then we just kept driving down because there was a couple more things. So there was the old the LA Zoo is right there in Griffith Park, or right at the bottom of Griffith Park, which we've been to before, but it costs money, so we couldn't go to the zoo. So, but the old LA Zoo, which was built in 1903.
Well, was it that early?
1912.
Really early 1900s.
Yeah, and then closed in 1955 before they built the new zoo. They still have like all the old animal enclosures and like the area where that was, or some of the old animal enclosures. Some of it's really like run down, and some of the fences are like cut and stuff like that. But the where there were like concrete animal enclosures, like you'd see maybe with like tigers or something like that, they still have those built into the hill right there. And so we walked up through that, and that was kind of cool. It was really interesting on the plaques and stuff talking about that. It was saying things like these dwellings wouldn't be appropriate for animals now, and it shows how far along our zoological science has come, where it's not like, because they were little. Some of those enclosures were just like little cages kind of thing, and so it is cool how even though like as we've understood that like animals need more space and they have like
their
other needs in their habitats and stuff, that we've gotten better and made sure to like take care of them better and be better stewards of animals, because zoos are awesome, but then you also have to realize that animals need certain things too. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That's cool.
It was interesting to like, you just don't think about it all the time. Some people do. I don't think about that all the time. And so it was interesting to me. But then we did that, and then we walked up a little, or we drove around to another spot, and we parked, and we went for a little hike. More like, well, it was like a hike. I mean, we didn't go super far because
it started going like, so it went up and then it started pitching back down. And I was like, I don't want to climb back up this. So let's just like go back down.
Yeah. So but on it, we saw a bunch of animals. We saw these little lizards. We saw a bunch of birds and butterflies, and Brooklyn saw something she's never seen before.
A rattlesnake.
We saw a rattlesnake.
So this couple came down as we were going up, and they're like, oh, just so you know, up around the bend there's a tree and there's a baby rattlesnake under it. And anyway, so we walked up there, and lo and behold, the little baby rattlesnake. And there was like a dead lizard in the middle of the road, so the rattlesnake was like kind of off the side, and like I wonder if it had killed that lizard, or if it was like trying to eat the lizard. I don't know anything about rattlesnakes, but that's what we saw.
Yeah, we saw a rattlesnake.
We didn't get too close because I'm not an idiot.
But she did take a picture. She got close enough to take a picture.
Yeah.
But not so close to threat.
I've been drawing alligators for work this past week. There's like alligators in the Everglades. Anyways, and I've been watching these videos of people who like put their heads and their arms and stupid things like inside the alligators' mouths, and then they'll get hurt. Like the alligators will bite them, and it's like, these people are idiots. Like, what the heck? Why am I watching this video of how dumb humanity is? Like, I don't get it.
So Brooklyn decided not to get bit by a rattlesnake. Yeah. She didn't like hold its mouth open and put her pinky in between it or anything like that. Because it was kind of a little rattlesnake.
Amazing the things that you find on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you post this? Like, why are you showing the world how idiotic you are? I'm just curious.
And then we went, so after the rattlesnake, we walked down and we went to the park and just kind of sat. And Brooklyn we sat by a playground, and Brooklyn sketched a bunch of little children.
Yeah.
Which is not as creepy as taking pictures of little children. It's actually like pretty acceptable to like sketch people and children by sitting in a park.
The reason Matt says that is because I take pictures of people if I think they have like a really interesting outfit. And I have to be really sneaky because, like, you don't just take pictures of people. That's weird. But I do because I'm an artist and I like gathering reference.
But so if she's sketching, people are chill with it.
It's not a weird thing.
You don't take pictures. Yeah.
Anyways.
It's both we're trying to, no, it's fun. It's fun. So that's pretty much what we did. And then we went to that party and had a meal, like just potluck. People just brought a bunch of stuff. We were so worried about it. We ended up being a veggie tray, but we didn't have a ton of information, and we thought that they said that there's going to be pasta and garlic bread and stuff, and we're like, oh man, is there a theme? And we freaked out, and we're like, okay, well, veggie trays are really bland and normal, but someone like brought pizza rolls, and somebody
we're like, what were we worried about?
Like,
this is BYU animation.
We just like didn't know who it was, but it was pretty fun. We met some people in the industry, so 3 of them are at DreamWorks, and then 2 of them are at Disney that were there. And so it's good to meet people that, one, like have similar values or that you went to school with, even if you didn't know them super well. And then also like just networking, knowing people in the industry is always good. So it was fun to talk to some people and stuff. We played a game, which we will not attempt to describe because we actually don't know it. Maybe it will come up some other time when we actually know how to explain what it is, but it was really fun. It was kind of just like I can't describe it. I'm not even going to try. Played games. It was fun. I'm not even going to try. Okay, so baby update is it's still there. It's kicking. It's rolling. And it's growing.
There was one night where I was like, have I felt it at all today? Like, have I felt the baby kick? And it was like a really busy day at work. And so I was like, maybe I was just focused. And so I didn't notice as much. And then we were like a little more, like I'd walked around or done like exercise or something that night. So I was like, maybe I just haven't noticed. And I was so worried. And then the next morning she was like kicking so much. Like, okay, what was I worried about?
Yeah.
So. But other than that, she's
when
good.
You're thinking about it. Yep, but we have there's a appointment with the doctor this week, so we'll have a little more news at the end of this week. So, but other than that, that's all for the baby. And now we're moving on to our opinion segment. So we're gonna hit this real quick because we're getting kind of long here. First, right now there's 50-cent Frosties at Wendy's. We love Frosties so much. That's basically it. They're good. Frosties are objectively delicious. Don't eat too many of them. Like we accidentally, because they were 50 cents, we bought 4 of them.
Like air quotes.
Air quotes accidentally. Well, we got there and I was like, I kind of want a bigger than a small Frosty, but I don't want but it was like $2.50 or $2.90 or something, and I ordered it, and then the person was like, our Frosties are 50 cents, right?
Like, just get a lot of them.
Yeah, like one small is like half of a large, and so just get 2 smalls, and I was like, oh, well, thank you for that hot tip. And then we did that. We were coaxed into it. They were delicious. We love Frosties. Out of 10, maybe an 8 or a 9. As far as
for Frosties?
Yeah, 8.
Oh, as far as ice cream goes, or
sure,
Frosties?
Like ice cream, like treats, desserts. Oh no, the Frosties are. I mean, they were good Frosties. They were Frosties.
They were.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to getting a scale going, seeing like where we put things.
Yeah, it's like an 8. I'd say.
Better than like a sucker.
Oh, so we're not just comparing against.
Worse than our pumpkin pies.
Oh, okay.
Because we love our.
We're talking about just.
I don't know, just desserts.
Desserts.
Anyway,
okay.
They're good. We like Frosties. Okay, so the next thing is, so we saw Detective Pikachu, which was interesting.
I actually liked it a lot more than I thought. I maybe got it like confused with Sonic, because it's like they're both sort of similar, where it's this realistic, portrayal of these.
Just so if you guys haven't been following along with this, Sonic, they released a trailer for the new Sonic movie recently. Like Sonic the Hedgehog, the blue hedgehog that runs really fast. They released that, and whoever designed Sonic,
it was terrible.
It was terrible. It's freaky looking. It's too realistic, and it was gross. it was really weird. So weird that they like basically have promised to redesign Sonic, the whole thing, and like change it. We'll see what happens.
That's like a story in of itself. But basically, I was like this is gonna be like probably a bad movie, just really cheesy and like poorly designed. But actually, I felt like they did a really good job on the Pokemon. Like they were realistic but still cute. Like they were able to find that balance where it wasn't like Uncanny Valley.
Right. So here's my take on it as a veteran Pokemon enthusiast, or at least somebody who's followed Pokemon. But
I'm not 26 years because it's not even that old.
No, it's not that old. It's old. It was created in 1996. Yes. But so anyway, I like Pokemon a lot, and watching it. Here's my quick take without any spoilers. Pokemon were great. Like it was one of the best takes on the Pokemon ever. Just like they were really fun. It was really exciting. They really melded them into the environment really well. The acting was really poor. There were a couple actors that were just like, wow, it makes it hard for me even to believe that this is anything. Pikachu was hilarious, and it just really well done.
Ryan Reynolds did a really good job.
Ryan Reynolds did a great job voicing Pikachu. And then, but all the Pokemon were pretty good. So if you're looking at it as like I love Pokemon, I don't really care too much about like how great and then the story was like a 7. It was like a good, exciting story, pretty cliche. Some of it was kind of cliche. It was really good though. It was dialogue, but the story itself was like a good enough story that was fun. But so if you like Pokemon and enjoy Pokemon, I'd say that it's like maybe like a 7 or 8, just because maybe a 7, because the Pokemon were so fun. But if you don't like Pokemon, I couldn't give it better than a 5. Like it was just like it was still fun, and the action sequences were fun, and the design was really good, and the world was believable, but the acting just wasn't very good. So that's that. But quickly, man, we're getting really long now. But quickly, I'm going to jump into my opinion just on Pokemon in general, because I think that this is important for people to hear, is that Pokemon is by most standards one of the top 10, maybe I would say top 5 RPG game, like role-playing game video games in history, like period. It's probably sold more copies than most RPGs. It's just as fun, it is so good. And the originals, the blue version and the red version, are just super fun, and they've just gotten better and better, and the new ones on the Switch are just perfect for beginners and for families. It's super fun. And so if I had to say Pokemon in general, like Pokemon as a brand or a product, I really think it's like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 as far as video games, as far as fun, as far as like family fun, as kid friendly, like there's Pokemon is great. Yeah. Brooklyn had never watched Pokemon or played Pokemon. I didn't even
really know what it was, honestly, till college. Maybe.
Yeah, till we were married.
It doesn't surprise me though, because I don't know. I lived under a rock.
But like, so Brooklyn played Pokemon Go a little bit, and then she's played Let's Go Pikachu on the Switch.
That's
so
honestly when I realized like how diverse of an audience it touched. So like my coworker, who's I don't know 50, 55, is like super into Pokemon Go, and it just amazes me that anyone can really get into it and really enjoy it. And when the whole Pokemon Go thing was happening, it was just amazing to see how many people came together out of the love for Pokemon.
Yeah. And I just think
hundreds of people gathering in these like hotspots, I don't know what they were called, but just over Pokemon. Yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah, and I just think that's something that some of us missed because like I would say maybe Chantel and Jenna were like 1996 is when it first came out, but Pokemon, and then after the video game came out, then the card game and the movies and the TV show came out, and it kind of got catered towards kids, but it actually is a pretty well-rounded brand and a pretty well-rounded game. You could play it as a kid, you could play it as an adult and enjoy it in both situations. And so I think that actually I'll talk about this some other time, but just like rising generation fads are really hard for like people who are just above that generation sometimes. So, but I'm actually going to make a note and talk about that next week because we're going too long. So we love you all a lot, and hopefully you all enjoyed your week, and we love you. I'm coming home. I'm going branding this next weekend. So we'll probably be recording the Walker Talks from Morgan. Brooklyn won't be there this time though, but maybe everyone else can be in the Walker Talks this week who's there. That's it. We're going to go home. I'm going to go home Friday, do branding, see cows. It's kind of weird though, because Brooklyn hasn't ever been like home alone. Neither of us have been home alone in LA.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, but it should be good. We're excited. And anyway, we love you.
Love you.
That's what we got. Okay, bye.